Hi, friends. Welcome to Tabletop Tonight. I'm Ruel, and this is Ruel's wrap-up for September 2023. This is my monthly show where I talk about the games that I played and rank them in order, starting with number 24 this month. I played 24 different games. This is P for Pizza, a fun little party game, a trivia game of all things from Big Potato Games. I love Big Potato Games. They're super, just very accessible, very easy to pick up. And look, it's just trivia. And what you're going to do is you'll see the little letters there. Whoops. The letters on the little slices of pizza refer to any one of these. So a fizzy drink, or what is this? Made of metal and has wings. And whatever letter is facing that clue, you have to shout out the first answer that comes to mind. If you're the first, you take that little triangle, and you're basically making a pizza. And as you go along, it gets a little tougher because then you can't start using certain words. We loved it. Michelle and I played it for the first time last month with Christina and Shu, the Golden Analog podcast. Also Amanda Panda and Eric Lang, the designer extraordinaire. I was so happy to play this game with Eric and the gang. It was so much fun. Michelle and I love party games. Totally recommend this for non-gamers or casual gamers. And here you can see you're just trying to build a big pizza slice as you gather your clues. Boom, boom, boom. And I know there's like some kind of thing. As you get higher in the pyramid, you can't use certain colors. Like those are off limits for you or something like that. But I played it once, loved it. And Michelle and I found it on sale. Really, I recently, was it last week or I don't remember. But hey, that was a short video because it's super short, super easy to learn. That is my number 24 game of the month, P for Pizza. Okay, moving right along. Hey, this is a classic game that I hadn't played for a while, but at the recent World Series of Board Gaming, I played Azul. And this is my number 23 game of the month. Now, the way I'm doing this these days is all the games I rank. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I play games that I really enjoy, and games, I'm able to pick and choose what I get. So even though this is number 23, this is really highly ranked all time for me. Here I am on my channel playing the solo game. It's a modern classic, Tile Lane, and boy, I got to play this in the World Series of Board Gaming last week, folks. Wow, talk about next level players. They were just on point. I thought I did well. I didn't do nearly as well as I thought I would. And funny thing is, what the guy that won our match, he went on to win that tournament, and then he went on to in the big tournament at the World Series of Board Games. He ended up fourth place. So I played with the fourth place winner out of I don't know, over 100 people at least of the World Series of Board Gaming. So shout out to my new friend Scott. Who really crushes at Azul. If you haven't played it already, folks, please give it a shot. It is a classic for a reason. It's an abstract game, very pretty tiles. They do look like Starburst, so don't eat them. But Michelle and I always love this. This is an evergreen tile for us. We will not get rid of this. You're basically trying to line up all the tiles either vertically or horizontally. Also collecting sets of tiles to score points. And as you set up those tiles next to each other, you're going to score more points depending on where they are. So still holds true to this day. It's still excellent. And if you haven't played it in a while, I would recommend it. Hey, there's Benny the Bit Spare. He shows up on the Twitch channel every now and then. If you don't know already, that is Benny the Bit Spare. Let's move on to our number 23 game. I love this one. Tumblin Dice. Shout out to our friends at Eagle Griffin for sending us a copy. This would have been my all-time favorite dexterity game if I hadn't discovered Crocodile. But it is a solid number 2. Absolutely love this. You have a set of dice, 6-sided dice, you and your opponents. There's this, if you can tell, the Tumblin Dice board is different levels, almost like stairs. And you just flick a die from the starting position there, where the Eagle Griffin logo is, and you flick a die. And it goes down the different levels, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Michelle just got a 4. So what you do at the end of the round, as long as it's still there, oh my gosh, Michelle's crushing it there. Wherever it lands, here, let me press pause. Wherever it lands, that's where you're going to multiply. So I got that, was it 3 times 2? I got 6 points there. But Michelle, what she got, like a 5 and a 4? That's 9 times 4. That's 36 points. So it's really cool because you can knock each other off. And then after, I think it was a 4 or 5 dice, You stop, you score, then you play another round. You play 3 rounds, highest score wins. Simple, easy to pick up, great table presence. If you don't have Crokinole, or if you have Crokinole, add this one in your collection if you like dexterity games. This one is a blast. Absolutely love Tumbling Dice. It is my number 22 game of the month. All right. Moving right along. Moving. Do. This is a game that Michelle and I played with friends right before Gen Con. It is the game Quick and Easy. Want to shout out Linnaeus Cabal for gifting us a copy. It's very, very kind. A copy of this game, which is, I played last year. Actually, Linnaeus also taught me the game last year at PAX Unplugged. And PAX Unplugged, speaking of, if you're watching this YouTube video, be sure to tune into the Twitch channel. You can click on the description below for the links. I'm going to be giving away 2 passes to PAX Unplugged this week, folks. So you got to watch live. Be sure to follow those links below. Anyways, the game, it's a cooperative game. Normally in the game, you try to go 1 through 100. I love the quick and easy version because you're only going 1 through 10. 1 stack is going up, 1 stack is going down, and you as you and your opponents, or your fellow competitors, I should say, your partners. This is the Roll for Crit crew. Let me get some more of the game showing here. They're great. Love those guys. But anyways, you play cooperative. You cannot say exactly what's in your hand, but you can say, hey, I'm going to try to go up or down or whatever on this. And it's tough. I think I've only won this game once out of maybe the 10 times I've played it. Michelle and I enjoyed it, and it was great fun with Linnea and also Variant Hex and the crew. Really love this. You're going up or down, and then if you do match colors, you can like sort of reset. But really great game. If you like the game but want it a little quicker, this is the one. Quick and easy. Fantastic version of the game. All right, moving on to number 20. We're in the top 20 already, folks. Let's say bye to the Roll for Crit guys. Number 20 is a game that I got from my friend Jin. He always hooks me up with the games from Korea. This one's called Cookie Run. It is a redo of Penguin Party. And Penguin Party is a game by one of my favorite designer of all time, Reiner Knizia. Very simple pyramid building game where you have cards, different colors, and you just place penguins in a little pyramid. But in my version, it's Cookie Run. I guess it's a video game from Korea. But it's simple, but it's a lot more fun than you'd expect. I'd played the original Penguin Party years ago, and I liked it, but I didn't really appreciate it until Jin gave me this one, and I played it a few times. Really, really simple, but really fun. It's a quick game where you build on a pyramid. You're going to be building on the first level that goes in a 3-player or more. It's 8. 2 players or less, it's 7 across the bottom. Now, once you build at least 2 cards, you can build on the next level if your card matches one of the colors below it. So if you have a yellow and green, you could build on the next level by putting a yellow or green. And you keep going until you've either run out of places to place your cards, or you built a pyramid. Normally it happens where one player will not have enough cards to play. The cards you have left in hand, you take negative points. Oh, Knizia, you and your negative points. But when you do that, you're going to take your negative points. Your opponents can continue till they end up stuck. They take negative points. You play rounds equal to the number of players, and then the player with the least number of negative points wins. Again, super simple, but very satisfying. I really enjoy this game. I wouldn't call it one of Knizia's best, but perfectly fine, especially if you're hanging out with a bunch of newer gamers. I think this would work well with it. And that is Penguin Party. The version I have is actually called Cookie Run here. And again, I do like this. I do miss the penguins, but I think this art is cute as well. It's totally language independent. You're just looking at the colors. But yeah, that is Cookie Run, aka Penguin Party. Let's move on to number 19, which is one of my favorite all-time games of Dr. Knizia. Hey, Dr. Knizia is back in Lost Cities. I played this one with Chris George of he worked for the World Series of Board Games, so the last couple of months I've been I was training for the WSBG, and I had Chris come on the final week. Right, this was literally the day before we were both going to be there at the World Series, or at least he was. I was going to be there on Saturday, but we're both fans of Dr. Knizia, and Lost Cities is just a brilliant 2-player game. It's it changes things up by, normally you draw a card, then play a card. I love that Kinesia went the other way with this, where you have to play a card first, then you draw a card. So you're going to feel like, I'm stuck a lot of times, but it's got that push your luck. Like, you know what? I am going to place this down here, and hopefully I get a bunch more cards. Because anytime you go on your little expeditions here, once you start scoring there, it starts negative. You're going to start with, Kinesia and his negative scores. You start negative 20 or more, depending if you do the handshakes or the double ups. But the more cards you get, the more points you get, you can start negating those scores. So, I will always play this game. I love this game. This one's never leaving the collection. That's why it's my number 19 for the month. Lost Cities. And shout out to Chris for helping me out there. Let's move on to number 18. This one has been on the hot list all year long, friends. This one is Heat Pedal to the Metal. And this is the run-through I did on the Rado Run-Through channel. It's actually the solo version that I played. And I like how easy it is to implement the solo game. This is basically Flamme Rouge, the next level. It's got the same hand management style of Flamme Rouge, where you're playing numbers to determine your speed. You're going to have to slow down around those corners. I love that you can shift gears and do all the things. Shift gears, you can draft or, follow on someone's lead draft and, sort of get some extra spaces. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm terrible at this game. I played the WSBG. I played a pickup game with some friends, and I was like, man, I'm terrible. But I love how it really does take Flamme Rouge and just levels it up. It makes it better in all ways. Now, for new gamers, for new gamers, you could totally play this. But I think I like the really streamlined play of Flamme Rouge. This one's got a little more meat on its bones, and that's why it's been so popular this year. And it's going to be on a lot of people's top 10 for sure. Hint, hint, it may be on mine. It's right now it is, but there's some games coming down the pipe that may bump it out. But as far as racing games, this is going to be on, my list of top racing games as well. So be sure to check that out if you haven't. It was out of print for a while, but I know it's now back in print because people are going crazy. Oh, no, wait. Was it back in print? I think it was. It may be out of print again. So anyways, check that out. Heat, Pedal to the Metal. Racing fans, that may be the racing game for you. All right, let's continue. This is another game that I'm going to show you that I played at the WSBG last week. This is Holly Jolly. Now, you're asking, Ruel, why the heck did you play a Christmas-themed game in September, the end of September? And I'm going to tell you right now, folks, as a Filipino-American, we celebrate Christmas. As a Filipinos celebrate Christmas. It's always the running joke that we start in September. Any of the months that end in "ber," September, October, November, and December, we celebrate Christmas. It's a big thing in the Philippines, and we brought that out here to the States as well. Honest truth, Michelle and I don't go that gaga over Christmas in September. We do enjoy the holidays as anyone else does. But you know what? I had to play Holly Jolly in September to kick things off, and I actually got to play this. So I played this with my buddy Daryl on stream last year, or maybe the year before, and we really enjoyed it. It's a Matt, is it Ben Pinchback and Matt Riddle? They've done games together. All their card games are chef's kiss, top notch. So we do the Burr months, and I had to play this one in September. I actually met. The gentleman's name is Leo. Shout out to Leo if you're watching this, my friend. I met him at World Series of Board Gaming. He is a fellow Pinoy, another Filipino-American, and we had a really good time. We played a bunch of games together, including Holly Jolly. I was like, yo, Filipino-American, we're playing this Holly Jolly game. So I'm going to be playing this every month this year. Michelle and I really enjoy this. Daryl, he's the biggest Christmas freak I know. He loves Christmas. So Daryl, this one's for you as well, my friend. So this is a hand management set collection game. Very, very smart. It's funny because I call it the math game because you got to add numbers. You're basically placing cards in the middle for the decorations, right? It's either going to be tinsel or lights. And the numbers on those, you add those up, and that's the card that you can take from the tree. So you can take like a ornaments from the tree. Now, if the numbers don't match up, then you go below the tree for either a present or for something from the stocking. super thematic. And then here's the cool thing: in that middle, if you sum up, it basically you get I think I forgot how high it goes up, depending on player count. If you get like 11 or more, then you can get the star on top, and those are worth points. So all the different ornaments and stuff are worth points. Christmas or the stocking and the gifts on the bottom of the tree are worth different points. Some are set collections, some are straight points. Absolutely love it. It's great, and I can't think of any other Christmas themed game that I would rather play than Holly Jolly. That's my number 17. And yeah, check that one out. Let's move on to number 16. And I had a lot of fun. Michelle and I had a lot of fun with this one. It is called Chicken. This is the newest game from Keymaster Games. Ooh, excuse me. Push your luck game in the vein of zombie dice, popcorn dice, where you roll dice, you push luck, you collect chickens, which are good, foxes, which are bad. If you get 3 foxes anytime you bust and the play goes on. I really like this because it's gives you a chance to level up dice. So the more chickens you roll, or the chickens, you grab those for points. And then if you hatch or roll the egg, you start taking the yellow and red dice down, or is it orange? I forget, into the pool. And the more dice you have, the better chance you are rolling chickens, but also the more likelihood you'll roll foxes, so you may bust. So it's really got a nice little decision point. Michelle and I, we really got into it. So Michelle's like, all the chickens. That's what we say whenever we play, because we want all the chickens. So definitely check this out. We'd love it. It's 15, 20 minutes. Has this really cool player mat, or scoreboard mat that comes in the game. It comes in those tubes, the tube just like zombie dice. Highly recommend for a family or a quick light game. Really enjoyed that one. All the chickens. Okay, moving to number 15. Oh yeah, I love this one. This is Fort. One of my favorite deck building games that does deck building in a different way. The Fort was originally called SPQF. A really interesting take by Grant Rodiak on deck building, where you don't actually like do currency or anything, or you don't. It's deck building without where you lose your cards every round. It's so interesting. You're gonna keep the cards that you played, but the cards that you don't go to the yard. It's got this great theme. You all have forts. You're playing, the kids that you're trying to attack to your fort. They have different abilities and so forth. And oh my gosh, it's so good. And then we played with the Cats and Dogs expansion, which adds cats and dogs. It's so cute. Just more ways to score. Very easy to implement. Adds just a little more complexity and depth to the game. I love the base game. Michelle and I love the base game. I mean, we wore our fort matching fort shirts and also dressed up, as we do there. We love it. We love the expansion as well. I'll play it anytime with the base game and or expansion. I mean, it has pizza and toys. Those are the things that you use to gather. So I guess that is a form of currency. But the theme is perfect. Building forts as kids. I love everything that Leader Games did to the game. I remember really liking SPQF, but the iconography and everything about the game made it tougher for me to play that game. But Leader Games did everything right, from streamlining gameplay to just using bigger, bolder icons that are easier to read and use. So yeah, shout out to Leader Games, and we love Fort, my number 15 of the month. All right, let's move on to the next game, number 14, Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. Shout out to Fireside Games for gifting me this copy. I had actually done some work for them, I think 2 years ago during their Kickstarter campaign, which was huge. They funded this. They had some super ultra deluxe versions, like all wooden pieces. I got the regular deluxe edition that had, wooden pieces, minis. Oh, I actually wanted, I'm not a painter, but I've done like washes. I think this would be really good if I just wash the pieces, and it'll look really cool on board. This is a cooperative game that got really early on in my gaming journey. I played this a lot with my niece and nephew. I've talked about that during the run through that I did, and I just love the tower defense play of this. It's very simple but very engaging. The theme is cool. It's like, hey, protect your castle from all the monsters coming from the forest and whatnot. Very simple gameplay, but it's not. It can be challenging. I mean, I got down to the almost to the wire on this one, and you can level it up as well. And I do want to shout out my friend Slivers for introducing me to the hiya when you use the ogre, I believe it is. And they changed the art, which I love the art. It's a new Dragon's Lair style art, which I love. But they changed the ogre just enough, but got to bring back the hiya. So yeah, really, it reminded me of how fun this game is, especially as a solo game. That is Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. And that was my solo run through. Let's move on to number 13. It's a game that I played with Rado a year ago, or so, maybe 2 years ago. It's been a while. Savannah Park. And I got to play this again at the WSBG. This is why it's on the list for this month. I forgot how great this game was. And the gentleman I played with, I want to say hi to John. Thank you again for meeting up with me to play. I met John at a tournament at the WSBG. I don't remember if we actually played in the tournament or we just met there. But then afterwards, we ran to each other at Open Gaming and played Savannah Park. This is I think it's a Michael Kiesling game, a tile laying game, but it's so different. And John and I were talking, and I think Rado and I were talking too, like, why did this game not take off? It might have been, I think it came out the year of like Cascadia, and it just sort of got lost in the shuffle. But boy, oh boy, this game is excellent. You start with these tiles, and it's sort of bingo style, where one player will choose a tile to flip over. And when you flip that over, you have to move it to a different space. It cannot be placed on the same space. And whatever tile you place or chose, the other player has to do that as well. Obviously, you just randomly place your piece on the board, so everyone's different. And then what you're trying to do is get the animals connected to watering holes, because that's how you can score. And it's got this really neat sort of king domino effect where as long as you can connect to the water, you'll score. But if you have multiple watering holes, that's when you multiply. So if your animals can connect to like 3 watering holes, 3 times, say, 6 animals, 18 points. Now, certain watering holes are only good for certain animals. Some can do a couple of animals. Oh, excellent game. I loved it. Shout out again to John for playing with me, because I forgot how good this game was. I needed to get a copy of this game. Michelle hasn't played it yet, because I did the run through with Rado. He sent me pieces down for when just to do my side of the board, and then like a couple of weeks later we met at Dice Tower West. I returned it to him, but I need to get a copy of this game. That's why it's my number 13 of the month, Savannah Park. Oh, that's so good. I really need to get a copy. Okay, going to our top 12 now, friends. Number 12. I've played this game so much in since Gen Con. It is Nana. Friends, this the way Amy and Maggie of Thinker Themer described it is Go Fish meets concentration or memory, or whatever you call those memory games as a child, where you just flip over cards trying to remember where things were. It works. It sounds like a bad game. It is not. It's fantastic. And at the WSBG, I brought my copy along. I played it at least a dozen times. And it was so funny. I played with Mick from Our Family Plays Games, and also David Waywright of Man vs. Meeple. The second after we got done, David jumped online to find a copy. This Nana, the copy I have, it's now called Trio. I don't think it looks as good. It's got a different style of art, but David really agreed. He agreed with me, and he got a copy of Nana on eBay. He was looking at it. It was like going for $60 a deck of cards, but he got his a little cheaper than that. So I'm excited for him to do that. Everyone I played with loves this game. You're trying to collect 3 of a kind. As you can see, Michelle and I are trying to get 3 of a kind there. And when you do, you collect that set. You're trying to get 3 sets first, and you win the game. That's it. It's super simple, but it works so well. And you can also, there's actually 3 ways to win. Get 3 sets, or you get 2 sets that equal 7, like 3 plus 4 equals 7, or 8 minus 1 equals 7, or you just play a set of 7s and you win. Here's the thing that makes it tough. You can only play your highest or lowest card in your hand, or you can ask another player highest or lowest card only. And then also the yard there, the market, you can flip over a card and see if it matches. So that's where the memory part comes in. Well, actually, the memory part is remembering who has what. It's funny because when you don't remember, it makes for the game. It's hilarious, but we love it. I played it so much at WSBG. I remember I played it with John D. Clare, one of my favorite designers. He's also a Southern California resident, but we saw each other at WSBG. We played it. I was wondering how he would like it. I mean, again, a very well-respected designer. He really enjoyed it. So that was really cool. And then he saw me later playing it again with Taylor from was it Taylor? No, it was yeah. Was it Taylor? I think Taylor from Taylor's Trick Taking channel, and also Ashton Wu from Shelfside. We were playing that, and John says, "You playing this again?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah." Love it, love it, love it. Be sure to check out the run through I did. Oh, a 2-player run through with me and Michelle. Now I do enjoy it more multiplayer, 3 and 4 player, and it plays up to 5. I like that. I think that's a sweet spot. It's probably like 3 or 4. 2 players okay, but you just don't have enough interaction, I think, with the other players. But still a wonderful game. Highly recommend. I think I ranked it like number 1 or 2 last month or the month before, but here it's number 12 just because it's my list is all about recency bias, right? So even though I did play it recently, I mean, I'm ranking newer games a little higher. But anyways, that's number 12, Trio. Going right next to, or going along to number 11, what do we got? Oh, this is my favorite game of 2021, and it still holds up to this day, Cascadia. The reason why it's on this list, I also entered into a tournament at the World Series of Board Gaming, and I played my best game ever. I scored 98 points in Cascadia. I came in second place. I tied for second place. That's how awesome the competition was. And who won that one? Was that Scott? No, maybe I'm mixing up. Because remember I talked about earlier, I'm talking about Azul, and a gentleman named Scott won and then went on to 4th place overall. Maybe Scott won this. I forget. But no, it wasn't Scott. It was another gentleman. I forget. Maybe he was named Scott too. But it was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it before. He had like 9 nature tokens left over, and that basically propelled him to the win. But the players I played with, they were so good. Really, really good. Tile lane, double tile lane, where you place terrain and animals. You try to match them up. You try to match your terrain up. You try to match the animals on terrain. You also try to match animals according to the different scoring options they have. You can do them randomly before every game, and it's still so good. The base game, folks, I will play it anytime. Absolutely love it. All right, let's move quickly on. We got top 10 coming up here. The number 10 game. So Cascadia still holds up. I played it at WSBG, loved it. Folks, number 10. We're kicking things off right with our 10th here. It is Red Cathedral. I was talking about the World Series of Board Gaming. There I am with Paula Deming. We did the live commentary for the Red Cathedral final table. I've got to shout out Paula. I've been calling her a pro's pro. She is so good at what she does, folks, and made my jobs that much easier. We called the action. We gave our thoughts on WSBG. There's the final table. Red Cathedral is a modern classic. It's such a great design. You got a rondel. You got it's a race to build buildings. The Red Cathedral, it's got this 16th century theme in Russia, where you're building these cathedrals for Ivan the Terrible, trying to gain favor, and it uses this really cool rondel. You're placing dice to get resources, managing that. The game we called, folks, these gentlemen, 4 gentlemen that played were so good. And what's funny was Paul and I interviewed them beforehand, and I think the gentleman who ended up winning, was it Scott or John? I forget the name. Oh no, Adam. Adam won. He'd only played the game 5 times, and it was amazing to see how efficient every player was. Now, someone had mentioned in the comments in the video, hey, doesn't it say something about, someone being inexperienced getting to the final of a World Series? And I commented, you know what? Maybe, but you got to remember, all 4 of these gentlemen, they're like hardcore gamers. Levi Moreno, who came in second, he's actually the 2-time defending World Series of Board Gaming Terraforming Mars champion. So talk about knowing how to manage resources. You know that these are all players. And we asked them, a couple of them, like, even though you haven't played the game that much, how can you expect to win here? And both, or at least both the guys I talked to, Paula talked to the other 2 who shared similar sentiments. The skills you have in gaming transfer over, right? So if you can manage resources well, if you can read the board well and figure out the best move in that moment, if you know how to, time your moves just right, you're going to do fine at just almost about any game. And that was true here. It's funny because Adam, who won, his favorite game is Ultimate Werewolf. And his favorite second game is Magic the Gathering. Those are not games I think of when I think of a Euro game like Red Cathedral, but he used those skills of being able to read the board, seeing things quickly, managing resources. Levi Moreno as well. Travis and David, they're fantastic as well. It was a close game. I was so impressed by Levi's final move where he built 3 different buildings on one turn and nearly got the win, but Adam had just built up enough to win. Check out the I'll link it below in the description, folks. Check that out. Again, shout out to Paula for being the best co-host ever. Red Cathedral, I had played it a couple times before I went out there just to reacquaint myself with the game. I forgot how good that game was. I love the Red Cathedral. That's why it's my number 10 of the month. Now, number 9, another classic. And, I was just talking about Paula. I got to play this with Paula and a couple of friends from TLN at the WSBG, the Castles of Burgundy. Still my all-time favorite Stefan Feld game. Dice. It's Stefan Feld's take on a dice game where you're going to manage the dice, manage your resources, and tile lane. You're placing tiles and scoring different things. Point salady, like so many of his classic games, but I love this game so much. See that? I was pausing for dramatic effect, right? It's so darn good. I've played this a bunch on BGA with Linnea. Linnea's helped me really ramp up my game. And Linnea, I hope you're proud of me, friend. I won the game that I played with Paula and CD and Matthew McCack, all of TLN. Granted, it was Matthew's first time, but he did really, really well. And I knew Paula loved this game, and I was like, if I can even get close to Paula's score, I'll be happy. CD was also a big fan of this game, but Paula, because I know her a little better, I was like, I want to stay close. I actually won. So shout out to me for being the champ of Castles of Burgundy. Just kidding, not the champ. Now the champ, folks. If you don't know, I'm going to be live streaming an interview with the WSBG 2023 champion, overall champion, Angela Tao. She won the Castle of Burgundy tournament, which propelled her to the next round, the quarters, semis, and the finals, and she won the whole thing based on, this was her launching point. So I want to talk to her about Castle of Burgundy and all kinds of great stuff. Click on the description below. You're going to see where you can catch that live. Thursday, is that the 5th? Let me check. Thursday, October 5th at 7 p.m. Pacific. You'll be able to see that live. But then I'll also put the interview on YouTube as well. But Castle of Burgundy still holds up. Great game. And even though it's a game that's older, I'm still putting my top 10 for the month because it is fantastic. All right, move on to number 8. What do we got now? Oh, this is a brand new one that I just did for the Ronald Rusu channel. But it hasn't gone live yet, so I'm showing, who is this? This is the Game Boy Geek. Dan King really loved this game. He called it the sleeper of Gen Con, and I can see why. It is an abstract tile laying game, but with this really fun theme, a cool theme of being in the future. You're entrepreneurs trying to build the most advanced city. Excuse me. You have your color, blue, red, green, or whatever is your color, but you're going to be placing tiles or round acrylic, sort of like Azul, but the round disc. You're going to place those in different sections or regions. And as you do, you're going to connect clusters. And the ones that are in your color, those clusters, are going to score you points at the end of the game. But here's the thing. You're also trying to build project cards, which build buildings in those different regions by doing certain shapes. So it could be like 2 red on top, 1 blue on bottom, and you're going to score points immediately based on that. Oh, hi, Dan. Let me go back to the game, Dan. Sorry. We love seeing your face, Dan, but I want to see the game a little more. Here it is here. Those are the project cards. You can see Dan placing to score those project cards just like that. And you'll score those points immediately. And then if your tile goes on those bonus tiles right there, see the round one? Or goes on the score track to get a bonus tile, those give you free actions. Really smart tile laying game. Very, very cool abstract puzzle. But it moves quickly. I really liked it at 2. And 3 players up to 4. Terrific. I think I like it more at the multiplayer. Again, a little more interaction. But very clever game. Neotopia from Arcade Wonders. Definitely check this one out if you're a tile lane fan. I am a tile lane fan, and that's why I loved it. Speaking of tile lane, we've got another one at our number 7. Let's move on. This is a game that came out a while ago, but I didn't play it until I got to Vegas at the WSBG. they had the Dice Tower library, and I got to play Foundations of Rome. I had seen this. I had been, drooling over this game for the last year and a half or so since it's been out. It's a game by Emerson Matsuuchi. I always butcher his name. I'm sorry, Emerson. This game is fantastic. It's a tile laying game at heart, and basically you place tiles down, and you're trying to connect them in certain ways to score, but also different ways to increase your income to get more money, and you got population to worry about. And as you build it up, you go through. You're randomly choosing cards where you're going to build, and you're going to really try to manage where you can build, because if you can, then you're going to increase your income certain points. The income comes at the end of each round. You have a certain number of cards that come out, then you do the income phase, gather that, and boy, oh boy, that deluxe version, there's our friend Becca Scott, by the way, explaining the game. That deluxe version is beautiful, but it is cost an arm and a leg. And I get it. It's totally overproduced, but it looked gorgeous on table. Talk about table presence, right? Unfortunately, I don't think that it's for sale anymore. I don't know if they're going to re-kickstart it or whatever, but I would be happy playing the normal. They are coming out with a cardboard edition, which doesn't have all the fancy bits, but you know what? It's going to be playable. It's a lighter weight game than you would expect from such a beautiful production, right? You'd think these hardcore, big deluxe versions are for heavier games. No, this is a lighter game that I can't wait to play with more people. I was very, very impressed with this. Again, super streamlined game, and that production value. Oh my goodness, so good. That's why it's my number 7 for the month. Foundations of Rome. Again, a game that's newer to me, but here's a brand new game to me as well that came out recently. This is our number 6. It is Ticket to Ride, the map collection, 6.5. It is Poland. Michelle and I love Ticket to Ride. Our favorite map is probably the Pennsylvania map because it has stocks, but this one was a really cool map because it's a smaller one. So we found it's better for 2 players at this size. And the thing that it's still a classic Ticket to Ride. Draw cards, try to place your trains on the map to connect routes. And as you build the routes, what's really neat in this edition, you can connect different countries. So obviously it's in Poland, that's the map. But if you can control, connect Germany to Ukraine or whatever, though they have country cards, and those you can score those. And as you connect more countries, you can collect more country cards. So very cool. Another bit of set collection on top of the classic network route building. We enjoyed it a lot, and that's why it's our number 6. I love, this is the game that really got Michelle into the hobby, Ticket to Ride. So we try to play all the Ticket to Rides. She's not as excited as much as I am about Ticket to Ride Legacy. Michelle has this thing about legacy games. She doesn't want to rip up cards or write on them. That's just not her thing. I love it. So my buddy Gerald and I really, we're hyped about it. So we're going to get a game going when he has pre-ordered his copy. But I do want to get a copy too, because I'm going to see if I can talk Michelle into it, because I think, it'd be a neat experience with Michelle. Ticket to Ride. We love them all. And this is the map collection 6.5 Poland. All right. Now, we were talking about tile layers. There's a bunch of tile layering games that we've talked about already. And this one really surprised me. I didn't know what to expect coming in, but Junk Drawer from 25th Century Games, friends, is outstanding. It's one of the simpler tile laying games I've played, but it works so well, and it's quick. What you're doing, each player has a set of tiles. And again, bingo style, you're going to flip over cards that tell you which tile to place. But it's up to you which sector of your junk drawer you're going to place it in. One of those 4 sectors, you place it, and there are different scoring conditions for each sector. So depending on how you build it out, you're going to score different points. I played it solo too, and I played one of the harder solo modes. It was way tougher than I thought. I was very surprised about this game. I went in, I'd heard about it. Wait, did I hear? Yeah, I did hear about it, and I just sort of like, okay, it looks cute. And it is lighter. But boy, there are different modes you can play, and the tougher modes are tougher. And again, a very, very surprising game for me. Tile Lane fans, be sure to check this one out. It's affordable. It's light. You can play, the very super light version with family and casual gamers, but you can ramp up the difficulty. Again, different scoring options and whatnot. Michelle and I enjoyed this game a lot. So be sure to check out the number 5 game of the month, Junk Drawer. All right, number 4. We're getting to the top games of the month, folks. Be sure to click on the link below so we can talk about what you played. It's a companion show that I do every month where I talk about the games that viewers and you all in the Discord community have played this month that were your favorites. I love hearing what everyone plays, and I chat about those as well. So click on the description below for the link of that. But first, my number 4 for the month, Forest Shuffle. Now, we talked about how Dan King was saying his sleeper hit of the month was what were we just talking about? Neotopia. My Gen Con sleeper, I thought, well, I don't think it was much of a sleeper. It was Forest Shuffle. Again, I didn't expect this game to be this good. This is from our friends Cavre. They did a playthrough or an overview of how to play the game. It's a hand management game. Some people have likened it to a lighter version of Innovation. I see a lot of that in it where it's multi-use cards, very Carl Chuddick-like, where you're slotting cards in, below cards, on top of, either on top or bottom or on the sides. So many different ways to score. If it's got that. I love this mechanism. You can play a card, but you must discard cards in order to pay for it. So there's always tension, like, oh, I want to play this card so bad, but I don't want to get rid of this card. You have to. So you can draw cards in. If there's at any time 10 cards in the clearing, that's where you discard cards. Those cards get wiped off, and you start dealing new cards. Brilliant game. I love this game so much. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be another one of those games on a lot of people's top 10 list. So unassuming. I love the theme. It's beautiful. And then you're playing, you don't know when the end of the game is because you have 3 winter cards. And the last game I played that has this is sort of like Ethnos, but a lot of games use this, where you have 3 winter cards. You stack those on the bottom part of the deck, during setup. You draw one, fine. Draw the second one, that's fine too. Draw the third one, game ends immediately. Finish your turn. So you know it's on the bottom third of the deck, but you don't know exactly when it's going to pop up. So it's got that push your luck element. It's like, ooh, how far do I want to go drawing these cards or playing cards before time runs out. Excellent game. Forest Shuffle, so good, and comes with a high recommendation from me as well. All right, hey, we haven't talked about enough tile laying games, right? Let's talk about another one. This is my number 3 game of the month, Cascadia Landmarks. Now, I have a run through coming up, but here's the unboxing I did. Cascadia Landmarks, I'm going to say this right off the bat. I don't think it's an essential expansion. I think the base game is good enough on its own merits. But if you are a fan of Cascadia and you want to freshen up the game and give it a lot more replayability, you must get Landmarks. This adds, first of all, it's going to give you new animal cards, so new scoring, which I found, actually, the last game I played was with my buddy Daryl. We just played, we're like, whoa, these scoring conditions are a lot more interesting than the base ones, right? And then you mix those in with the Landmarks stuff. Landmarks are great. So when you have 5 terrain of the same type, you can take the corresponding landmarks. So if you have like 5 waters, you can take the little water or meeple, which is like a wave, place it on there. Then you're going to score one of the many. I'm going through them right now. There are dozens of different scoring options for landmarks. So those could be just anything simple, like straight up, hey, you get 3 points if you do this. Or it's going to use scoring on the different animals and the different terrain they're on. It's like 1 point if a fish is on a mountain thing or whatever. And then there's also ones that talk about the tiles. Like if you have a certain shape, hey, if you have, forests in this shape, you'll get 2 points per whatever. Oh, Landmarks is great. I really enjoy this. I can see how it might lead to some AP because you're actually, increasing the decision points that you have during each phase of the game. Like, oh, I can, normally you're thinking tile and habitat or, terrain and animal. Now you're adding landmarks. Ooh, if I put this terrain here, I can get that landmark. But I may want to hold that off. So you can hold off on getting that landmarks, but, you really want to see how far, you really want to see what else you can do. So there's a lot going on. So it definitely has the potential to be a little more AP inducing. But, the more I think about it, I really like landmarks. I'm not going to call it essential because you can still, we've gotten dozens of plays of the base game. We still love it. And there is a family variant as well. So we haven't played it yet, but that's the easier version. But the landmarks, I'm going to say, folks, if you enjoyed Cascadia, definitely check this one out. So good. I want to thank AEG for sending this over. And that was my unboxing. You'll be seeing a playthrough real soon. All right, let's move on here. The next game we've got is, what is that, folks? It says unpublished prototype, top secret. Why is that there? Because it is a secret what I played. I can talk about it. I wasn't sure, like, if I could show the actual pictures. What do they have here? I'm just, okay, it's a placeholder. I was wondering what this looked like on BGG. They have, on BGG, they have this game called unpublished prototype for all the games that you play that aren't officially out. I played a game called Mystic Realm. And I think I can show pictures, but I wanted to hold off just to confirm. This is the new John D. Clare game called Mystic Realm. It re-implements Mystic Vale. And based on the one play I played, folks, it's better. I loved it. I was so excited. And I was trying to give constructive feedback to John. He's asking, hey, just tell me anything you don't like. And there's a couple of quibbles that our table had. But boy, I was so fired up. It takes out, remember those Vale cards that you can get? It takes it, they take that out of the game and replace it with a board where you're going to go on this board, play those Vale tokens or icons, and it's got this thing where you can, it's an ongoing currency, so you don't lose those. You're going to continue to keep those, and then you can spend it to go on the board, and you on the map you spread out, and you can get extra abilities. You can score points. Oh, I love that one twist. And also, a really cool thing is when you bust, if you're familiar with Mystic Vale, when you bust during the card crafting portion, you're playing your cards, you bust by playing 2 minutes unfertile land or whatever it is, spoiled. When you spoil, now the spoiling is not as tough. You still spoil, you lose your turn, but now you get to pick one of the things that you would have earned that turn to use it. So if I played a bunch of cards and I spoiled or I busted and I had currency, the money, or I had certain icons like the Vale icons, I can choose one of those and still take my play my turn. I just lose the opportunity to do all of it. I love that little twist, and I think that's why Mystic Realm is going to be a hit. Again, I'm gonna, I'm gonna do a WSBG wrap up, a recap. So in that, I will share pictures, and I just want to make sure with John that I can share these pictures. Now, I did see a couple of prototypes of his. I know one of them used some art that wasn't, he preferred not to show that art on camera. But this one, I believe, Mystic Realm, I want to make sure, so I will confirm with John before I share it on the recap. But Mystic Realm, folks, if you're a fan of Mystic Vale, you are going to enjoy Mystic Realm. So that's the prototype. Let's go to my number one of the game of the month. I got to play this again, probably for, the fourth or fifth time. This is Last Light. This is Roy Canada's game, the 4X game that plays in an hour. This is Daryl and I played a 2-player game. We streamed this. We had a great time with it. Of course, I got some rules wrong. With a 2-player, you play with a dummy player, and I noticed that we did a couple of things wrong, unfortunately. But playing it again at World Series of Board Gaming, I played with Amanda Panda, Dave Luza, and Matthew McCack of Room 51. Had a great time. Dave crushed us. He was so good at this game. I was trying something different where I played it a couple of times, and I want to see if I could do play without confronting my other players as much. I wanted to try to build stuff, but the cards weren't in it for me. But I mean, granted, Dave played awesome, and he deserved victory. So I was trying something different. But yeah, this game, it's a 4X, plays within an hour, simultaneous action selection. It is so. I told this to Roy. I just told him straight up, dude, this is my favorite game of the year so far. If it stayed, it wouldn't surprise me to stay there. It will definitely be top 3, or definitely top 5, if not top 3. And right now, it's my favorite. I love what he's done. Taken a 4X and really got it down to 60 minutes, which is unheard of for these games. But the components are great. The gameplay is silky smooth, and it plays well at any count. I did like the 2-player variant where you have like a dummy player, which you're trying to control, actually. You don't always want to be in the lead, which is, leads to some very interesting and tough decisions, because if you control that dummy faction, the other player could, take advantage of that. So, I love Last Light. It's my favorite game of this year and of this month. Friends, thank you for joining me for this recap of what I played this month. What did you play? I'd love to hear. Click on or type it in the comments below, or click on the description below for a link to what friends of the channel and viewers played. I do a show called What You Played for the month, and you'll see that as well. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Till next month, I'll see you later. Bye.